initiation ceremony, welcoming these devotees into the Brahma Bhagavad Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, with, under the guidance of our beloved Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. And we're doing it. We're returning to the stop. We're conducting it on a most auspicious day. This is the appearance day of Lord Nityananda here in Sri Vrindavan. I couldn't think of a better day to take Diksha, to take initiation. And I thought, it being the auspicious appearance day of Lord Nityananda, we would read some prayers. Most appropriate, we would read some prayers glorifying Lord Nityananda by a devotee called Sri Kanu Thakur. Sri Kanu Thakur. Sri Kanu Thakur was the son, actually, of an associate of Lord Nityananda, his wife. His father's name was Purushottam, and he was married to a woman called Janava. So, unfortunately, just after his birth, Sri Kanu Thakur, his mother passed away. So, the father, Purushottam, he went to see Lord Nityananda and his wife Janava. Just by coincidence, she had the same name as his original mother. So Purushottam, he asked Nitai if he would adopt his son. Can you imagine? What an adoption. If he could adopt his son because his wife had passed away. So Nitai and Janava, they agreed. And they adopted the boy. Nitai used to call him Shishu Krishnadas. Shishu Krishnadas means baby Krishnadas. I didn't know this until this morning. Gopinath Acharya, who was a very learned scholar in ISKCON, who lives in Oxford. We have a center there, Oxford. ISKCON has a very prominent center there. So he does all this research and writings on our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. So he sent this to me this morning. I didn't know that Nitai and Janava had an adopted son. They called him Sri Kanu Thakur. So he, having so much association with Nitai, since he was a baby actually, he later became a great kavi, a great poet. And he wrote several poems or several songs. And I thought it would be very appropriate today to read those songs to you, his poems. Special treat, right? The first one is called Gora Pada Tarangini. I won't read the Bengali because I'm not so expert in the pronunciation, but I'll just read the verses that he wrote. Have mercy on me, Nitai. Have mercy on me. The saints say Nitai is the refuge of all who are lost. You reign supreme. Even your royal banner bestows pure love. You never consider whether one is high or low. You give pure love and delight all people of this world. You are the Lord of mercy. So why am I so sad? What can I say? This is my greatest hope. You are my family's deity. He wrote another poem, another song, Bharati Raga. O my Lord, Nitai Chandra, household after household, he ensnared in the noose of love of God. Every single person suffering burning afflictions, he showered with his every sidelong glance. Boundless is his compassion to the land of Goda. He wanders, dancing, possessed by love of God. He stutters while he speaks about his brother as tears of love flow in his reddened eyes. How often did the hair of this beautifully golden form bristle like brilliant kadamba stamens? His body is bedecked with many jewels. He rejoices whenever he meets devotees. How often did he not stumble with unsteady steps at his lotus feet? Hearing about his compassion, my hope has grown. Thus Krishnadas directs his love at Nitai's feet. This song is called Kalyana Raga. Full as the moon, but is Nityananda Avaduta. His gait is relaxed, his dancing exceptionally graceful. He enchants the people of the three worlds. His face, his eyes are spotlessly splendid. His arms are brilliant like bumblebees, like lotuses. The luster of his red lips exceeds the beauty of dawn. His teeth are like a string of pearls. Those scorched by life, he compassionately showers with a stream of ambrosial words. With the rays of the names Hare Krishna, he destroys for all the darkness of bad habits. Surrounded by his friends, he is joyful, like a moon circled by stars, illuminating night's domain. So Krishna Kanudas sings, longing for the buds of the lotus feet of Sri Chandra's beloved. Oh my God. Hare Krishna. This song is called Dhanashri Ragavas. Nitai Nagara, wow, what a name. Nitai Nagara is drunk on love of God. He is a peerless ocean of compassion and pure love. His heart overwhelmed with intense love, the Lord does not know who is his and who is not. Where on earth is there such compassion? He gives love of God, which is beyond the purview of Vedic conjunctions. Constantly he uplifts sinners. Constantly his tears flow for the suffering of fallen souls. Ceaselessly, tirelessly, he begs and gives pure love of God to all. He is like a glorious storehouse. With folded hands, Kanudas prays, please grant this poor servant a place at your feet. Shri Kanu Thakur ki, Sri Nityananda Rama ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Wonderful way to start the ceremony. So, we'll begin by the purificatory ceremony. Just as we purify ourselves daily by taking a bath because of the contamination of the material energy, we have to bathe the bath. We also have to bathe the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, the ego. They're also afflicted by contact with this material energy. So just as we bathe with soap to become purified, we purify our hearts where these things reside by mantra. And this particular mantra from the Garuda Purana, it's typical that it is recited at the beginning of every initiation in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. I'll give the translation first so that when we're chanting later you'll understand. Either pure or impure, or having passed through all conditions of material life, if one can remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, he becomes externally and internally cleansed. It's very interesting, because we're talking about cleansing the body, the gross body, with soap. We're talking about cleansing the internal body, the subtle body, mind and intelligence with mantra, the ego with mantra. But here it describes that if we remember Krishna, we become externally and internally cleansed. It's interesting. So powerful, this remembrance of Krishna. One becomes purified in all aspects. I know I was told very early in the movement that if for some reason you have to perform some sacrifice, some yajna, or some purificatory ceremony, whatever. If you just take your earlobe here and you pull 3 times, you consider your body's clean. Because sometimes, we're ready for a ceremony and we touch something, or we have to go answer nature's call very quickly, pass the urine or something, and you can't go back and take a bath. So there's routine devotional service and there's emergency devotional service. So routine, we know the routines, but sometimes there's emergencies and you can't do the routine. So there's emergency regulations. So I've taken my bath. So apparently just remembering Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Chaito Dharpana Marjana. The holy name of Krishna, what does it do? Mahaprabhu says, it cleanses the heart of all contamination. So in every way, Krishna, Sri Krishna's name is all auspicious. So you'll see before you, the initiates, you have the Atman cup. So what we'll do is you take the spoon in your left hand and put 3 drops in your right hand. 3 drops in your right hand. And then you look at the water and you say, Om Keshavaya Namaha. And then you sip the water. And now you put 1 drop in your right hand again and you throw it to the side. One more time. 3 drops in the right hand. You look at the water, you say, Om Narayanaya Namaha. Sip the water. And then 1 drop again in your right hand, throw it to the side. And then again, 3 drops in the right hand. You look at the water and you say, Om Madhavaya Namaha. You sip the water. 1 drop in the right hand, you throw it to the side. This is done in various ways in ISKCON, but this is one version. So now everyone can repeat after me. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Ya Smaret Pundarikaksham Sa Bhaya Ayantara Suchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Now you're pure, for the time being, until some thoughts come to your mind, which we don't want to mention or whatever. So, in order to approach Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was always pure. Even when Krishna comes to this material creation, Dukkalayama Shashvatam, a temporary place full of so much suffering and contamination of the 3 modes of material nature, he always remains aloof. He always remains aloof. He's never touched by the laws of material nature. Just like a king, when he travels someplace in his kingdom, other persons in that particular province or area, they had to follow so many rules and regulations, but not the king. He's the king. He's the one everyone bows down to. So that's an analogy. No analogy is perfect when describing spiritual subject matters, but it's close to our understanding. The king is free to do what he chooses anywhere he goes in this kingdom. So when Krishna comes from the spiritual world, he's not bound by the rules and regulations of material nature. He's not contaminated by the 3 modes of material. He always remains pure. He's the purest of the pure. So if we want to approach Krishna, why do we want to approach Krishna? For seva. That's our connection with Krishna. It's seva, service. God is very great. We are very small. We're meant to serve the great. It's our connection. We lost the connection, therefore we're unhappy. Just like in the womb, how was the baby connected to the mother? Through the umbilical cord. Sometimes it is, but the baby dies in the womb because the umbilical cord becomes tied up or becomes blocked or for whatever reason. Sometimes babies die because the umbilical cord is squeezed inside the womb and the baby dies and no more nourishment. So our umbilical cord is our connection to Krishna, connection to our spiritual master, connection to the Vaishnavas, all of whom we serve with great enthusiasm. It's seva. And if you stop that seva, then there's no more connection, there's no more ananda, there's no more bliss, there's no more love. So we are connected. This initiation ceremony connects us officially. It's ordained, it's a stamp of approval. It's like people use stamps on contracts. It's the stamp of approval that the initiates are connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So because He's the Supreme Pure, to be connected to Him, to serve Him, we have to become pure. Like Prabhupada sometimes used to say, to enter fire, you have to become like fire. So Krishna consciousness means that we have to be pure. We have to be pure. So in Vedic culture, a sannyasi, at least I know from my readings, he had to bathe 3 times a day, just to remain externally pure. And he had to chant 64 rounds. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Because if you don't remain purified, you become diseased. Like if you don't take a bath, I met a boy one time, he hadn't bathed in 2 years. I could smell him a kilometer away. He was a hippie, 1960. I said, why don't you bathe? He said, I want to keep life's experiences with me. What? I want to keep life's So Hare Krishna. They do this in something. Change the mind. So we want to remain pure, so we don't get physically diseased and mentally diseased. What's a mental disease? Mental disease means to forget Krishna. That's the sickness of the soul, to forget Krishna. So to remain healthy, to remain pure, 3 baths a day, and Kirtaniyat Sarari, constant chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So this initiation ceremony is meant to bring us closer to Krishna. It's meant to bring us closer to Guru. It's meant to bring us closer to the Vaishnavas. These are the 3 prominent personalities in our lives. They say in social matters that if you really think about it, in this world you have, just a few very close people to your heart. You may have many acquaintances, you may have many friends, but those who are near and dear, you can trust, you can say anything, won't go out. And keep it inside, group them, out of respect for you. Maybe 3 or 4 very near and dear friends. So in Krishna consciousness, we have 3 personalities who are very near and dear because we're all on the same path, supporting each other, inspiring each other in Krishna consciousness. That's God, Krishna, our spiritual preceptor, the Guru, and the Vaishnavas. They're very, very near and very dear to us. So this ceremony of Diksha initiation brings us closer because why? Because officially you become part of a family. I already have a family. What is that family? That family is here today and gone tomorrow. The 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the description is given that just as many twigs and leaves and branches may come together by the power of a river's current. Like, the trees are on the side of the river, so the leaves fall in the river. the twigs fall in the river, little branches fall, they go like that. So by the force of the river's current, sometimes they come together. And by that same current, they're separated. You've all seen a river. There's a nice little patch of flowers, maybe some twigs, and the current becomes one, and then they're separated. And they join another bunch. And then they're separated. They join another bunch. So Bhagavatam's very direct to the point. Life is short and then you die. We have to speak. They have a show in America, a television series called Hard Talk. Two personalities come and they discuss their opposing views and they go right to the quick, this view, this, that. It's hard talk. No niceties, just hard talk. So sadhu means one who cuts our material attachments by his preaching. Sometimes a little painful. Oh, what did he say? So this is a fact of life. Just as the twigs and the leaves and the little flowers come together by the force of the river's waves, in the same way, they're separated. So in the same way, we come together as family members by dint of our past karma. You have the brother, you have the sister, you have the mother, the father, because of your past karma. You come together, it's a family. You have similar, of course you may be different, but you have some similar karma that's brought you together. So we come together by the influence of time, and by the influence of time we're separated. Where did Rija go? Rija! Maybe it's hungry, I don't know. Well, in Vrindavan, expect the unexpected. In India, in Vrindavan, expect the unexpected. You get so much mercy, you don't even know. So just as the river's current brings flowers together, twigs, so time and our past karma bring us together as family members. And then, time we're separated. We don't like to think like that. I have to leave my mother, I have to leave my father, my brother, and my sister. Wake up, wake up. Prahlad used to sing that song with his band. So we have to be, devotees always a little, we're joyful, but also a little sober. It's an interesting combination. Devotees are very blissful. At the same time, they're a little sober, because they know the reality. They're blissful because they're getting out of here. So we have our family members, and we love them. They're near and dear. But in this world, nothing lasts forever. What's forever? What's forever is Goloka. There's no lamentation there. Vaikuntha means a place where there's no anxiety. Kunta means anxiety. This world's anxiety because we're separated from our near and dear, and friends, and compatriots, and our cricket stars, and our football stars. There's so many relationships. So it's attachment, and then separation. So Kunta, it's a place of anxiety. Vaikuntha, there's no anxiety because relationships are eternal. We're beginning on that path by joining Prabhupada's family through this initiation ceremony. You're becoming part of Srila Prabhupada's transcendental dynasty, you could say. Dynasties go on for many generations. So this Sankirtan movement's meant to go on for 10,000 years. It's the golden age of the Sankirtan movement in Kali Yuga. And we're being welcomed into this transcendental dynasty of Srila Prabhupada. Through this ceremony, you're becoming part of Prabhupada's family. And that's an eternal family. No lamentation. Because Prabhupada, in a metaphorical way, he said, we will have our ISKCON in the spiritual world. We'll all be together. And as I've said many times in the recent weeks as we were traveling in South India, I pointed out that my godbrother Dhananjaya, he said, Prabhupada told him, when we get back to the spiritual world, we'll recognize each other. I remember you. You don't look like you did then. You're a beautiful gopi. You were a big, strong man. And you were a Mataji, now you're a coward boy. Whatever. Prabhupada said that you won't recognize me like this as an old man. He said, I'll be a young boy. But bear in mind, one can have different, according to Jiva Goswami and the Sundarbhas, one can have different relationships, parallel relationships with Krishna. Just like Narada Muni, he's a male, a transcendental person, always traveling and preaching. But he also has a form of a gopi, Naradi. Arjuna also has what's Arjuna's name?
Arjuna.
Huh? Arjuna. So, does it mean Prabhupada's eternally a coward? What? He speaks like that in his prayers in the Jaladuta, but it's described by Jiva Goswami. One can have different rasas. It's all, you'll be fully satisfied. So this ceremony on this auspicious day is so wonderful. We're getting out of here. We're going home back to Godhead. We're going home back to Godhead. In our naivety in the early years, in the early 1970s, we'd go in Harinam. And we'd sing the Maha Mantra, but we'd speculate and make up songs. And, we'd sing the Maha Mantra for a few hours, and then as the people passed by, all together in unison as a chorus, the Sankirtan would sing, we're going home back to Godhead. We're going home back. People look at us like, what's Godhead? Your home's Detroit? Why are you singing? Well, that's where our currents, that's where our rivers flow. And we won't be separated by time. Just the opposite. We have the material world and we have the spiritual. They're diametrically opposed. In the spiritual world, everything's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. In this world, everything's temporary, full of ignorance and suffering. So we're in the process, actually. We're in the process. We are works in progress. We have to become fully dedicated. Atma Nivedana. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Shmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedana. There's 9 processes that we're becoming purified so we can approach the Supreme Pure. But we're not there yet. There's still some contamination. We're works in progress. We have a lot to do. My mother used to read me a poem when she was bathing me. Rub-a-dub, 3 men in a tub. Some English saying. I remember I was just a child. Rub-a-dub, 3 men in a tub. She scrubbed me down. I remember that. I must have been like 4 or 3 or something. Rub-a-dub, 3 men in a tub. Yes, Mommy. Close your eyes while I put the soap on your face. Oh, it stings, Mommy. I told you to close your eyes. Sorry, Mommy. Childhood memories. Fortunately, the childhood memories of the children being born in the Krishna conscious movement are something different. As I'm bathing you, Lala, here's a nice story about Krishna, Mother Yasoda bathing baby Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you say it? Hare Krishna. Very fortunate. So, we're works in progress. We have to be honest where we're at. And being works in progress, we have to be very attentive to the cleansing process, following the 4 ligative principles and chanting 16 rounds a day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're works in progress. We want to come to the stage of Atma Nivedana. And we're inspired when we hear the pastimes of great devotees who are either Nitya Siddhas, eternally liberated, or those who have achieved that state, having come to this material world, for whatever reason, and through the purificatory process, Sadhan Bhakti, have become Nitya Siddha, Because once you go back to Godhead, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you never come back again. So you can be considered Nityasiddha in that sense also. So we have to adhere to the process. And so today you're being born into the family of Srila Prabhupada, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And in the process of taking birth, first there's conception. The father plants the seed into the womb of his wife. So in spiritual initiation, the spiritual master gives mantra in the right ear of the disciple to awaken Krishna consciousness, which is already there in the heart of the disciple. Krishna consciousness is not something that we have to go out and purchase or take from a distant place or find some lost treasure somewhere. No, it's already. Love of Krishna is eternally in the heart of every living entity, even the crows, the birds, the cockroaches. It's there. It's known. So at the moment of initiation, just like the material father begins the process of life by conception, planting the seed into the womb of his wife. So on this day, the spiritual master blesses you to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, thus awakening that spirit. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Gaura. Mahaprabhu said, how long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? Wake up. So we begin to wake up. The babies, your eyes don't open. You can't. The babies can't see for the first 14 days. They see only light. They don't see form. 7 to 15 days, the baby begins to perceive form. So we come to this movement. We come to this movement. Get her a chair? We come to this movement and we look around and we see, and then we realize we need a father. We need a spiritual father to guide us back home, back to Godhead. So we seek a spiritual master. At the moment of initiation, that seed is awoken. You're blessed to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. It's an eternal blessing. It goes with you if you don't make it in this life, life after life. My god sister Sukha Sajari, I wonder where she is now. She lost her initiation beads. Prabhupada was there, gave her the name Sukha Sajari, gave her her initiation beads, and she lost them. She wrote to Prabhupada, she sent a new set of beads. Prabhupada, I lost my beads. Please, can you chant on these new beads? So historically, Prabhupada said, he wrote her, he said, my dear Sukha Sajari, please accept my blessing. Thank you for your letter. Sorry to hear you lost your beads. Here's some new beads for you, on which you can chant Hare Krishna. But this is the last time I'm going to chant on beads where disciples have lost their job. We were shocked. Oh, I don't want to lose my beads because Prabhupada, he won't chant on the second set. But then Prabhupada said something very wonderful, pacifying the heart. He said, these beads, those beads, that's not so important because at the moment of initiation, you get the mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. He said, that is an eternal blessing. That means if I don't make it, because Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudevava, it's not so easy to go back to God. Mahaprabhu makes it easier than Krishna, but we shouldn't, think that it's as easy as apple pie. Eating some cream and apple pie. No. Eke Kudananda, you just fix your mind on the goal. So we may need this mantra in the next life, and it will be there. We're so afraid of death. Oh, death is coming? I'm going to lose everything. Mama, Papa, brother, sister, all my fine clothes that I've accumulated, all the beautiful saris I got, all the nice kurtas. and fancy doties. Hello. My car, my house, my reputation, my knowledge, everything. You come into this world naked and you leave naked. You can't take anything with you. But this will be with you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. What is the ceremony? Just think, what is the ceremony? You're getting an eternal blessing. We just think, where am I going to be in 10 years? Where am I going to be in 20 years? What do I look like when I'm 75? That's me. What do I look like when I'm 80? What my condition will be? Yes. Material world's not a nice story, but you can be super enlivened by thinking that I can carry this mantra with me forever. It'll always be with me. It's described Krishna as the best friend of every living entity for various reasons, because he accompanies us as the super soul, birth after birth after birth, waiting for us to wake up. He's the super soul in the heart, birth after birth, and he's just waiting. He's very patient. It says patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. So Krishna, he's the most virtuous because he's the most patient. Not just with you and me, but with every created being. He's waiting. So that way he's our ever well-wisher, our dearmost friend. But he's also the dearmost friend because by taking shelter in this Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, taking Diksha, taking initiation, you have him as your friend forever in the form of this mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Why would one throw aside something so precious as the Mahamantra? Why would one leave this movement? For what? If you leave this movement, it's guaranteed that until you again take up the movement, it's going to be suffering. One body after the next. And by dint of some devotional service that you did in this lifetime, you'll be given the opportunity again. But the others may pass you by. Like the hare, the rabbit and the tortoise. The rabbit, out of his pride, he challenged the turtle to a race. I'm going to show you what a race is. So they started on the starting line and the rabbit ran so fast and he got just near the finish line. And he thought, I've got it. I've done it. I've got this in the bag. I'm just going to take a little nap here. 2 meters from the finish line. And the turtle, and he passed the rabbit. Just as the rabbit woke up, the turtle crossed the finish line. So slow but steady wins the race. Slow but steady. That means no matter what happens every day, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Not too fast. Devotees chant fast. To finish my rounds. You don't have to finish your rounds. You're associating with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lives in an abode, Vrindavan, playground, his playground of God. That's the most important thing. You're trying to come close to him. Don't chant too fast because then you mix the words. I hear devotees chant sometimes. What's that? Hare Krishna mantra. You should chant so the person sitting next to you can hear all 32 syllables. I taught me about that. Doesn't matter how long it takes. The longer it takes, the faster it is back home, back to Godhead. The longer it is, you take the chanting your rounds, that means the faster you get back to Godhead. If you chant very, very fast and you don't pronounce all 32 syllables, then you risk slower. This is transcendental mathematics. Transcendental mathematics. So we have to, have it become second nature. So in the beginning years, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting like that. This is the again, we're works in progress, and we're not there yet. Prabhupada said one time a Mahabhagavata devotee can fall down. How can a Mahabhagavata devotee fall down? Prabhupada said if he hears Mayavad philosophy, Tapamasmi, thou art that. If he hears that philosophy and adheres and becomes infected by it, a Mahabhagavata can fall down. What to speak of little old you and me? We just came out of the womb, of the spiritual womb. Let's be honest. We're not crying tears of ecstasy after many years of chanting. So we have to be very serious about it. We're like, where are we right now? We're without a microphone.
He's the best at this, and still.
Like Indian batteries, they were brand new,
But they're probably not Duracell. American made. Hare Krishna. So we're works in progress, we have to be honest, and we have a lot of work to do. We're like, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were like the caterpillar. You know caterpillars? Ugly as hell. Ugly as sin. They've got 36 legs, very hairy, 36 legs, They don't even move. And they walk like that. When I was a kid, I was fascinated by caterpillars. I used to collect monarch butterfly caterpillars. They were creepy, but... And I put them in a cage, and then they would, by nature's way, they'd go into a cocoon. Like, that's their samadhi, perverted reflection of samadhi. They go in a cocoon. And I don't know, how was it, 7 weeks? On my wall in my room, my mother hated it. I'd mark with the pen 1 week, indelible pen 2 weeks. After monarch butterfly season, you had to repaint the walls. 1 week, 2 weeks. I had to know. I think it was 7 weeks. Then the cocoons would open. And what came out? A butterfly. Who in this world thinks butterflies are not beautiful? Everyone can see that butterflies are beautiful. So many butterflies. One reason, when I was in the Amazon jungle, oh my God, the butterflies, they were this big. Yeah. It's one reason I went to the Amazon. Don't tell anyone. Because I heard the butterflies are this big. They're like birds. And so many variegated colors are flying. I chanted my round. Uh-oh, I don't want to become a butterfly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Physician, heal thyself. Beautiful. But the analogies, Prabhupada used analogies, material analogies to describe spiritual things, because philosophical concepts are sometimes difficult to get. So we want to be butterflies. Where are we now? We're not caterpillars. After this ceremony, you've taken the vow, no more sinful activity. Fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One day you'll fly. If you can't fly, from the spiritual world, they send a flower airplane. Imagine flower airplanes. They don't have any diesel. They don't have a footprint to what do you call it? Contamination. Flower airplane. There'll be Vishnu Dutas there. They'll welcome you. Come in. Have some Varuni beverage. What drink would you like? Oh, I don't know. The place, we had Varuni beverage. And what would you like for lunch? Pizza. Sorry. You have to leave that behind. There's no pizza in Goloka Vrindavan. Sorry, Prabhus. Okay, spaghetti, no. The menu is just as it is in Yamuna Devi's cookbook. That book is the spiritual world. That book should become, what a great service she did. Because chanting, dancing, and feasting. And she enshrined our culture in that book. And how often is it used? Very rarely. She learned those recipes from Prabhupada, and she learned those recipes by studying. I mean, I think I'm 75, old man, but I'd be inspired to study that book and learn cooking just to honor Yamuna Devi. Yamuna Devi Dasi ki.
Yeah.
Amazing what she did. Those recipes, they're perfect, complete, and tasty. And if you offer them to Krishna, you don't get better than that. All you girls should learn. I tell the initiates, you have to learn recipes from Yamuna Devi's cookbook. You have to promise at your initiation. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. And throughout my life, I'll study Yamuna's cookbook and learn as many recipes I can to offer to my Thakurji and serve the Vaishnavas. Okay? Whoa. That's more like a blessing than a command, right? Okay, so we're by the mercy, we're in the cocoon of Sadhan Bhakti, and if we stick to the path, that cocoon will open. Siddha we'd say. That will be revealed by Prabhupada's mercy, by the mercy of the Holy Spirit, who we are in Krishna consciousness. We have to be a little patient, but it doesn't mean we can't relish Krishna consciousness at this stage. It just becomes, it's already perfect. So how do you describe it then? It's perfect, more perfect, and when we enter into the kunjas, we appear in the kunjas in the womb of a gopi and Goloka Vrindavan, it's most perfect. It's already perfect. We don't think, I have to wait. No, you're already saved. Just like if you're drowning in an ocean, somebody pulls you up 1 inch above the water. That's a great relief. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that the first wonderful thing that happens to the devotee, they become free from great distress and anxiety, because they're above the modes of material nature, as long as they're practicing devotional service. We may not feel ecstasy, we feel relief. We're above the modes of nature, we're by Krishna consciousness, Shuddha Sattva, even above the mode of Buddha. So perfect, now your lives are perfect. They become more perfect, the more rounds you can chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. The more you can serve your deities, the more you can serve your Guru, who's pulling you out of that ocean of material existence and lifting you by Prabhupada's grace back to the spiritual world. It's just a wonderful process. So you're taking that, you're entering into the cocoon, you're no longer caterpillars. You're not caterpillars, ugly caterpillars. You're becoming beautiful butterflies in the path going back to the spiritual world. Okay? And I'm very happy to help you. I'm just newborn as well. But just like in the world, if someone's climbed a mountain a little higher than us, then we can learn to climb to that stage. That person will be a little bit higher, and then we're climb to that stage. And this way, we go back to our next level. Is our time over? Is that a signal? Take a stick. They heard that and they stopped. He's a big man, Ukrainian, big strong man. See, stop. All right, Hare Krishna. So, because we chanted that mantra, you can put on your new neck beads. Those of you who have, do you have your new neck beads here? initiates? I don't see the neck beads. Okay, so please put on your new neck beads, and after the neck beads on, friends can help, then the garlands can be offered, and then the favorite part of the ceremony that you'll come forward, and I have some beautiful spiritual names. Oh my God. When I hear the other gurus, right, the other gurus, my dear God brothers, some God sisters, I always find out the names they gave at the initiation, and I take the best names and put them on my list. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Who's sitting in the ceremony for Tamashi? Dave, have already.
Yes, it is.
She's there.
Oh, sorry.
Saraswati.
Saraswati.
Someone else.
Then there's two initiates.
We have initiates.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so the names?
Yes. Roger? That's it. I'll just clear the area there.
This is it. You can put there.
Okay, Rishi.
Shri Radha Kunja
If you
Bihari
could come forward.
ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,
So Ritika.
Ritika. The first obeisance is to Prabhupada. I think we can move that.
Yes,
Daigo Danitai. Nityananda Mahajan ki. How long was that talk? Okay. Thanks.
Сядьте, пожалуйста, не видно ничего.
Are you nervous?
Roger, go on the side and take photos for you.
So we take what are the four regulatory principles that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds on these beads that I chant upon? What do you promise to chant for the rest of your life?
So 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And I promise each other that I will do minimum 16 hours each and every day. And I will try to learn.
Wait, hold on.
And I try.
The mic went out.
You can use the same.
Maybe that. And?
And as I promised, I will try to learn the new recipes of Nityananda.
They're not new, they're very ancient recipes, but they're new for you. So we can map them. I'll come to your house and you can cook. I'm very happy to accept you as our newly initiated disciple, and we'll do everything within our power to bring you to Srila Prabhupada, at whose feet all masters sit, and who is taking us back home to Golok Vrindavan. So I like to give names that are related to Vrindavan or Mayapur. So giving a Vrindavan name. Your name means servant of the pastime places of the gopis. From this day forth, you should be known as Gopi Mandala Rasa. Gopi Mandala.
Julia.
Julia. Хорошо. Да.
Russian.
Someone can translate. What's your name, brother? Julia. In Russian.
Даю обещание всю жизнь не есть мясо, рыбу, яйца, не играть в азартные игры, читать 16 кругов маха-мантры, не заниматься незаконным сексом и не употреблять интоксикации.
Husband's Pati Guru, he helps.
I solemnly swear that I will never, for the last of my life, I will never eat meat, fish, and eggs, and no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication, and 16 rounds every day for the rest of my life.
And learn to cook. She did cook?
Yeah, really.
How long have you been married?
Few months is.
Oh. She's getting married. So, Yulia, we're giving you a name that means servant of Radha, whose form is nectar personified. From this day forth, this will be known as Amrita Rupini. Very sweet. Happy marriage. Right? Parents are here. Your mother was just shining from ear to ear, her smile. This is a very important moment for your parents because of the close connection and love. They conceived you and raised you and trained you for this moment, actually, so that you could take Diksha. And being serious about it as you are, that means you'll go back home, back to Godhead. So their duty of parents is fulfilled to raise children to be What are the 4 rules and regulations you promised to follow, and how many rounds of the Maha Mantra did you chant?
Gurudev, I promise to not eat meat, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And I promise to chant the 16 line every day.
So we're very happy to accept you as our spiritual daughter, and we will do everything in our power to connect with you through the Prabhupada and take you back home back to God. Go speak to them in Hindi. And tell them just 10 more minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Suspense. So, your parents were initiated on what day? Huh?
Nityananda Triyodashi.
Same day. Isn't that amazing? Your parents were initiated on Lord Nityananda's appearance. And today is Lord Nityananda's appearance. And look at the name you're getting. Your name means servant of she who was always in bliss because of her love for Lord Nityananda. It's the name actually for John of America. So from this day forth you should be known as Nityanandi Priyadasi. Nityanandi Priya. It's a very sweet name. And you'll always remember. How can you forget? But you'll always remember you were initiated on this day. Nityanandi Priya Devi Dasi ki. Jai. Thai Gaur Premanandi. Shri ki. Jai. So we have a few initiates. Four principles and number of rounds. Elena?
Those are minor minutes. अरे हाँ मैं करता हूँ.
Okay. So, Elena, happy to accept you as my disciple. Your name means servant of Radha, who has the deepest love for Krishna. Servant of Radha, who has the deepest love for Krishna.
Елена, теперь вас буду звать служанка Ширадхи, которая обладает глубочайшей любовью к Шри Кришне.
Your name shall be Prema Bhavani Dasi. Prema Bhavani. Prema Bhavani. Hare Krishna. Congratulations. Elena.
Елена Коробейна.
Харе Кришна, написано такое, Харе Кришна преданный, Харе Кришна Гурудев, я обещаю, что твоя оставшаяся жизнь соблюдать все регулирующих принципов, не есть мясо, рыбу, яйца, не принимать продукты интоксикации, не заниматься незаконным сексом, не участвовать в азартных играх, повторять не менее 16 кругов на четком, ежедневном, внимательном.
Becky, can
Велике
you,
моє поклонство.
servant of the nectarian pastime places.
Ваше имя будет служанка нектарных лил, нектарных игр
Мест,
и
где
мест
проходят лилы.
Радхи и Кришны.
Мест, где проходят лилы, Рады и Кришны.
Нектарных мест, где проходят игры Радхи и Кришны.
Elena, from this day forth your name shall be Leela Stali Dasi. Leela Stali. Jehovah.
Yeah, we have shit out of it. And for the rest of the mandal. Oh yeah,
So I'm going to install the sacred fire now for Vishnu to accept our offerings of blood. So in the meantime, Ramai, you can have care time. grains like this in the hand, and then when I say swaha, Om Agyam Jimanandasya Anangana Shavakaya Satsur Imritam Nena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha Swaha 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 Vichitanya Manovisam Shavitam Nayanaputai Swayam Vipakadamayam Bhakti Svahadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prabhupadakamyam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sram Shri Rupam Sakritam Sahagana Bhagavatam Vijantam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradhan Sahavana Bhita Shri Vishwavanandam Sya Swaha 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 Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Swaha 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 Namaste Saraswati Deve Bhagavani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavani Satyata Shikari Swaha 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 Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhasya Saraswati Namine Swaha 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 Shri Varshabhangi Devi Naitaya Bhadraye Krishna Sambandha Vikraya Naide Namaste Namaha Swaha 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 Bhaya Premadya Shri Kusunuka Bhaktira Shri Gorakhana Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Shivanta Kanta Harine Swaha
Swaha.
Swaha
Swaha.
Namo Gorapitaya Sapta Zayagimoshaye Vipulanam Vasundore Karanditaya Te Namaha Swaha
Swaha. Swaha. Swaha.
Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakshidanandanamine Gaur Shakti Swarupaya Rupanyuga Varayate
Swaha. Swaha. Swaha.
Gora Vibhava Umeshwam Nideshta Satanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Raghunathaya Te Namaha Swaha
Swaha.
Swaha
Swaha.
Namo Mahamaya Krishna Vengadaya Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namo Krishna Namaha Swaha
Swaha. Swaha.
Panchatattvam Krishnam Bhakti-rupam
Swaha. Swaha. Swaha.
Krishna Srimad Bhattacharya Srimad Bhagavad Gita Krishnami Srimad Srimami Srimad Rasa Rasampi Mamsi Rasa Vitasmita Karshampi Shamir Gopir Gopirata Shri Krishna Swaha Swaha
Swaha. Swaha.
Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Radheshri Vishwanatha Suchadevi Namaste Hari Priya Swaha
Swaha.
Swaha
Swaha. Swaha.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Swaha Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Swaha Swaha
Nityananda Ram Ke
Jai.
Jai's Appearance Day Ke
Jai.
Swami Ke
Jai.
Ram Ke
Jai.
Jai Ke
Jai.
Jai
Shri Radhe.
Now we'll stand and the initiates can take, so we can put the rest of the grains in the fire. Then they can stand with the banana, or we can spend their arms for the rest. Govindaya Namo Namaha.
First come.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna,